So the system I use to scale sticky experiences. So this is always my promise to you. You don't have to work harder to deliver really big, right? So there was a time in my entire business relied on me explaining everything. If I wasn't on a call, if I wasn't doing a review, if I wasn't leaving a long message or emailing, if I didn't personally reassure every single one of my clients, retention suffered for me. You guys may feel that way too. And then you're like, well, I understand all this, Allie. I know that we can do all this, but it's just so hard. There's so many questions. There's so much I have to do all day long. That's when I realized something really critical. If clarity depends on me being available, my business will always break. So manual clarity doesn't scale. And so we have a solution for that. And I'll show you what that solution is. But you don't have to do more work. You can actually do less work and make your experience much stickier. And, often ways we talk about systems, right? So why systems beat hustle? When clarity lives in systems instead of in your head, everything changes. Systems create that consistency. Consistency creates trust, and trust creates retention. Important, because if you're kind of sporadic in how you do things and when you do them, and you get a 30-day update, but they got it on the 32nd day, right? All those things, that starts to diminish the trust. So systems are really important to help that consistency and build that trust. And then of course the trust creates that retention. And that's why sticky experiences are not built through effort. They're built through structure. They're built through knowing what the journey is. Systems create trust faster than any conversation that you can have with a person. And what's really cool about it, when you have like a detailed plan that's updating it, showing them their progress to their goal, it's a lot better than words coming out of your mouth, right? So if I were to be working with you, say, and your credit score, you came to me by a phone and I'm working on your credit and your credit score improves. And I say, oh yeah, your credit score improved. That's a great conversation. They're good with that. But what if the next month their credit score drops? But I know they're closer to getting a home loan than they were 30 days ago. So I'm trying to tell them that with my words. It is so much different than me trying to tell it with my words, because it's almost like they kind of take it as, oh, she's just trying to tell me something so that I stay with her, but really I'm not better off, right? But when they actually see it on a plan and see it on paper, like, here, you're closer to your goal and here's why, and here's what needs to be, here's what we need to work on this month so we can see that increase in the credit score as well, right? It's very different when they see it on paper. So I'm telling you right now, systems and creating those plans are super important with creating that trust and beating the hustle, right? Okay, so the deliverable system. The system I use to build around all my deliverables, not constant communication. I'm not picking up the phone. If you guys know me, I don't pick up the phone. Clients don't talk to me on the phone. Deliverables will do that heavy lifting. So we have, action plans, monthly updates, really important, goal-based roadmaps, clear priorities, the next steps. These replace the explanations, they reduce emotional labor, and they make the experience more predictable. Deliverables always replace explanations, and they work better and they build better trust. And so LevelUp Score is the deliverable system that I've created that you guys can use. This will reduce your workload, create some more sticky experiences for you, build on your retention. Like I said, it tripled my retention rate, which was amazing because, the hardest thing is getting the client in a good journey, and you're great at what you do. And you just have to figure out how to retain them. It's the easiest thing to do, right? And so again, thinking back as you as a consumer, what would you want to see, right? But I think oftentimes we forget that we are consumers, so we can ask ourselves the same questions that we would want to ask the consumer. So how LevelUp Score fits into all this is exactly why I built LevelUp Score. It creates those clear action plans. It creates the visible progress, the goal-based direction, the client-facing clarity. Instead of you explaining things over and over and over again, the system actually shows it once and clearly. So the client can look on their action plan and they can see if their score went down, they can see why their score went down, and they'll know what exactly they need to do in order to improve their score, right? And so you don't have to use your words to say that. You don't have to answer the question. Matter of fact, sometimes they're embarrassed to ask you once they see the plan because it's something that they did that they shouldn't have done, right? And so they don't even want to ask you that question because they can clearly see it. So it really does reduce the questions that you have. I always say that if a client has a question, we failed to answer the question before the question was asked. So how do we create a system and a process for the client that alleviates the questions? So if you're bogged down with client questions all day long and emails and phone calls or whatever you're doing, think about that for a second. The question means something in the journey is broken. Okay? Especially if the question something's asked over and over and over again, you need to come back to your system experience so that my client doesn't have the question. So again, I always use the phrase, answer the question before the client has a question. Okay. And this is where interviewing clients is really helpful with building out this. So if you want to start and triple your retention, here's the shift. Stop trying to convince clients to stay. Start building experience that makes staying easy. You can join the live demo that LevelUp Score has. Something's wrong with my images here, so I apologize, but you can come on to join the LevelUp Score demo call. We do that demo every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I would love for you to join and check it out for yourself. See how this might impact your business, help you retain more clients like it has mine. Less work, more value. I appreciate you guys today.